everyone, it's always a pleasure to welcome you again to House News. In this episode, we present you the latest information coming right here from the Indonesian House of Representatives. So now let's have a look at our headlines for today. Chairpersons of Commission 6 received a visit from the Romanian ambassador to Indonesia to strengthen bilateral relations, particularly in economy, trade, and investment. BKSAP of the House welcomed delegations from the Committee on International Trade of the Arizona House of Representatives to discuss enhancing cooperations in various strategic sectors. Lawmakers have agreed to draft a new manpower law following a ruling by the Constitutional Court and will form a drafting team to develop the bill. The Indonesian House has officially passed the Fourth Amendment to the Law on State-Owned Enterprises in a plenary sessions. This law dissolved the ministry and establishing the Regulatory Agency, or BP-BUMN, as its replacement. Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Hajj and Umrah has introduced a major reform, allowing all valid visa holders to perform the Umrah pilgrimage. Commission 6 held a meeting with the Romanian ambassador to strengthen bilateral relations. Despite limited partnership up to the present, both countries have seen strong potential for growth in economic collaborations and investment.
Chairperson of Commission 6 of the House, Anggia Ermarini, highlighted Romania's strength in wheat production is in line with Indonesia's growing demand for wheat products. She also pointed out the rising trend of rice consumption among Europeans opens an opportunity for Indonesia to expand its agricultural exports and strengthen trade relations with Romania and other European countries.
Diharapkan nanti setelah pertemuan ini ada kerjasama yang lebih konkret dan lebih besar lagi. Mereka menawarkan bahwa seperti contohnya Indonesia kan semakin hari semakin banyak makan gandum. Nah, mereka punya produksi gandum banyak. Begitu juga sebaliknya, orang Eropa sekarang sudah mulai makan beras, ya nasi ya bukan beras ya. Makan nasi. Nah, kita juga seperti itu, dan itu kemungkinan bisa terjadi, termasuk juga mereka sedang akan ada Expo Pertanian besar-besaran secara global, dan mereka mengundang Indonesia, baik itu Kementerian Pertanian atau BUMN Pangan terutama, lalu kemudian baik swasta juga diundang juga untuk bisa expose di sana begitu. Lalu beberapa hal lain.
Furthermore, Anggia hoped the meeting with the Romanian ambassador can be an initial step towards strengthening sustainable economic relations between the two countries through collaboration across various strategic sectors. Tegar Aziz, TVR Parliament reports.
BKSAP welcomed Arizona's plan to open a trade office in Indonesia, seeing it as an opportunity to strengthen ties between the two countries. Arizona's strong potential in mining, energy, and economic capital reflects its confidence in Indonesia's economy.
The delegation from the Arizona State Representatives has visited several regions in Indonesia, including Bali, Batam, and Jakarta. The visit is to strengthen trade relations and explore new opportunities for cooperation. Chairperson of BKSAP of the House, Mardani Alisera, considered this step as part of efforts to expand economic cooperation between the United States and their strategic partner in the Asian region.
Bahwa kantor dagang itu dapat segera berjalan di sini sehingga hubungan antara negara bagian Arizona dengan Indonesia, khususnya dengan para provinsi-provinsi yang bisa tertarik, dapat segera berjalan.
Harapan dari proyek kantor dagang itu apa, Pak?
Meningkatkan perdagangan kedua negara, win-win solution. Arizona punya capital yang sangat besar karena mereka daerah tambang. Mereka sudah punya kantor perdagangan di Taiwan dan di Korea Selatan. Mereka ingin buka di Indonesia dan di Australia.
Furthermore, Mardani added West Java and Banten provinces would be encouraged to participate in economic cooperation with Arizona due to the beneficial trade and investment potential. The Arizona delegation also aims to open trade offices in Indonesia and Australia as part of its strategy to improve global economic engagement and promote new international partnerships. Additionally, Mardani explained technocratic studies and regional capacity are essential to support the successful implementation of this cooperation. Therefore, technical and economic aspects must be carefully evaluated before moving to the political stage. Handoko, TVR Parlemen, reports.
The House leadership, together with government officials, held a meeting with the workers' union coalitions to gather input on the draft manpower bill. During the discussions, the coalitions presented 17 new points for considerations.
Among the 70 points submitted by the Workers' Union Coalition, one of the most significant issues is the lack of adequate legal protection for certain groups of workers, especially in digital platform workers such as online motorcycle taxi drivers, online couriers, and content creators. Vice Speaker for Politics and Security, Sufmi Dasko Ahmad, is committed to addressing the aspiration of the Workers' Union representatives. Dasko assured the House will enact a new manpower law in accordance with the Constitutional Court's decision. A law drafting team will be formed involving the workers' unions, the House, and governments. The House also encouraged broad public participation to support the formation of the new manpower law.
Kita sudah sampaikan bahwa DPR bersama pemerintah itu akan membuat undang-undang ketenagakerjaan yang baru sesuai dengan putusan MK. Pemerintah, DPR, dan teman-teman serikat pekerja akan membuat tim perumus yang akan memperkaya atau kemudian merumuskan pembentukan undang-undang ketenagakerjaan itu. Yang ketiga, kita mendorong partisipasi publik yang seluas-luasnya agar undang-undang ketenagakerjaan yang baru ini dapat mencerminkan undang-undang yang bermanfaat buat para serikat pekerja Indonesia, dan juga dapat dibuat dengan sebaik-baiknya, demikian.
On the other hand, workers are also demanding the new manpower bill include medical personnel, educators, and ship crew. This is because legal protection for these workers is currently limited to government or ministerial regulations, not formal legislation. Zikri and Yasser Todenus, TVR Parlemen, report.
The House has passed the new SOE law downgrading the ministry into a new regulatory body. Stay tuned right here only on House News. The House has passed the revisions of the State-Owned Enterprises Law, marking a historic shift in how Indonesia manages its state companies. This move marks the end of the Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises, which served as regulator and operator.
During a legislative forum, member of Commission 6 of the House, Rieke Diah Pitaloka, stated the amendment reflects President Prabowo's dedication to enhancing state-owned enterprises, or BUMN, as profit-oriented entities contributing to national growth. Furthermore, Rieke pointed out BUMN profits should not rely on tax revenues and non-tax state income. She highlighted BUMN has important roles in supporting economic growth and public welfare by creating jobs, agents of national development through infrastructure projects, and providing essential goods and services for the public.
Ini merupakan wujud dari komitmen Presiden Prabowo, saya kira, untuk memperkuat BUMN sebagai entitas usahanya negara yang harus sebesar-besarnya memberikan keuntungan kepada negara, bukan hanya pajak dan PNBP. Itu yang saya kritik di setiap rapat ketika laporan keuangan mereka mengatakan kami sudah memberikan keuntungan kepada negara. Apa keuntungannya? Mayoritas yang besar itu adalah pajak dan penghasilan negara, bukan pajak. Tapi dividennya kecil sekali begitu. Pertamina baru zaman dirut yang sekarang itu ada dividen yang cukup tinggi.
In addition, the House hoped the new law will enhance stronger synergy between BUMN, the public, MSMEs, and cooperatives in accordance with the People's Consultative Assembly Decree to promote economic independence and national stability. Trihandoko, TVR Parlemen, reports.
The Ministry of Trade reported Indonesia's tin exports in 2024 declined compared to the previous year. Therefore, the implementations of a sustainable tin trade system is considered the suitable approach to maximize its contributions to the economy, society, and the environment.
During a doctoral promotion session in economics with a dissertation titled Development of a Sustainable Tin Trade Model, Chairperson of Commission 12 of the House Bambang Patijaya requested sustainable tin should focus on the active involvement of various stakeholders, including the government, industry players, academics, and the publics. He believed this approach can create a fair and transparent system.
Dalam rangka bagaimana pertambangan timah ini dapat berjalan dengan baik, dengan memberikan manfaat bagi masyarakat seluas-luasnya, dengan cara mengikutsertakan semua aktor, semua yang termasuk di dalam pentahelik untuk dapat berperan. Sehingga dengan demikian, yang kita inginkan itu adalah keadilan, transparansi, kemudian juga kebermanfaatan. Nah, mudah-mudahan dari apa yang sudah sampaikan ini dapat kita aplikasikan.
Indonesia is the world's second largest tin exporter, contributing 12% of the global market in 2024. The country's tin export value in 2024 reached 1.4 billion. The main destination for Indonesian tin exports include China, the United States, and European countries. Bondan and Ridwan, TVR Parliament report.
During 2025, police and the Southeast Sulawesi Regional Narcotics Agency reported numerous drug-related cases. Parliamentarians urged law enforcement to take firm actions against individuals involved in drug offenses, including strict handling and penalties for traffickers.
Member of Commission 3 of the House, Iwayan Sudirta, stated drug offenders are the largest population in almost all prisons in Indonesia. He suggested drugs users should be given rehabilitation sanction, while dealers and kingpins should face the heaviest possible punishment to create a deterrent effect and prevent prison overcapacity. Additionally, Sudirta explained there are allegations of misconduct in handling drug cases by certain law enforcement officers. For example, drug users who cannot afford rehabilitation fees are sometimes given heavier legal treatment by being charged as traffickers.
Janganlah pemakai itu diakal-akalin oleh penyidik yang nakal. Misalnya, seorang pemakai, ada laporan-laporan dan saya punya bukti juga bahwa pemakai itu karena diperas oknum tertentu nggak bersedia membayar, malah dia dijadikan pengedar. Nah, diminta jumlah tertentu, saya tidak mau sebut angkanya. Orang yang diminta itu masih ada di dalam tahanan karena kalau dia mau menyerahkan uang tertentu, dia akan pemakai. Tapi karena nggak punya uang itu karena miskin, dia jatuh dijadikan pengedar.
Moreover, Wayan emphasized effective combating of drug crimes in Indonesia requires strong political will from the National Narcotics Agency and the police. Such commitment will protect the nation's future and reduce prison overcapacity, leading to alleviate the financial burden of the state budget. From Kendari, Rangga Wijaya, TVR Parliament reports.
All Muslim holding a valid visa for Saudi Arabia can now perform Umrah. Stay tuned right here on Leon House News. For anyone who has dreamt of performing Umrah, the journey just become easier to begin. Saudi Arabia has opened the doors of Umrah to everyone with a valid visa. This step welcomes millions of Muslims to experience the sacred journey in an accessible way.
Saudi Arabia has introduced a new policy that makes it easier for Muslims from around the world to perform Umrah. Through the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, the Saudi government now allows Umrah to be performed using any valid visa, including tourist, transit, work, or family visit visas. This means anyone currently in Saudi Arabia with an official visa can now undertake Umrah without applying for a special Umrah visas, as was previously required. The policy has been warmly welcomed by many prospective pilgrims as it offers more flexibility. This move is also part of Saudi Arabia's efforts to facilitate access to religious practices while strengthening its position as a global destination for religious tourism. Beyond visa facilitation, Saudi Arabia is continuously improving facilities for pilgrims. Various upgrades have been made to the infrastructure around Masjid Al-Haram and Masjid Al-Nabawi, including transportation system, accommodation, and information services. This new policy aligns with Saudi Vision 2030, the kingdom's ambitious plan to become a global center for religious and cultural tourism. By implementing more open and visitor-friendly regulations, Saudi Arabia hopes Umrah is no longer limited by visa bureaucracy. Instead, becomes an accessible and spiritually meaningful journey for Muslims worldwide.
Indonesia is blessed with coastline on almost every edge of its island. Have you ever heard of Ngurblot Beach in Maluku? Besides being famous for its fine sand, the beach also has a beautiful view with blue skies, clear sea, and coconut trees.
Ngurblot Beach is located in southeast Maluku, in the village of Ngilngov, K Island. The word Ngurblot comes from the K language, which means the long sand. Renowned for its beautiful scenery and sand stretching along 2 kilometers, Ngurblot Beach, or local people called Pasir Panjang, will pamper every foot that step on it. Its sand is said to be as fine as flour and has even been recognized by National Geographic as the beach with the finest sand in the world. Interestingly, the sand remains soft even when dry or under the hot sun. In addition to the beauty above sea levels, Ngurblot Beach also has a stunning view under the sea, which can be witnessed during snorkeling or diving. The water is clear, the gentle wave creates perfect conditions for swimming, playing, or simply sitting and enjoying the serene sunset. In the morning, the atmosphere is peaceful with soft sunlight, while evenings are a favorite times for visitors to catch stunning sunset. The beach also offers a warm local atmosphere. Resident welcomes visitors with Maluku's characteristic friendliness. Stalls sell fresh young coconut and grilled fish, and simple beachfront accommodations allow guests to enjoy quiet nights accompanied by the sound of waves. Ngurblot Beach is more than just a tourist destination. It is a hidden gem of eastern Indonesia, showcasing the country's rich natural wealth. Its beauty is often compared to world-class beaches in the Maldives or the Philippines. However, it still has a more natural charm and remains relatively uncrowded.
Indonesia uses museum as a way to preserve knowledge from generations to generations. Stretching from Sabang in the west to Merauke in the east, here are the 5 provinces in Indonesia that have the highest number of museums.
Indonesia preserves its history and culture through hundreds of museums scattered across the country. According to data from the Ministry of Culture in 2025, there are 442 museums across 33 provinces, with most of them located on Java Island. At the top of the list, Central Java and DKI Jakarta each have 63 museums. In Central Java, visitors can explore unique collections from the Ambarawa Railway Museum to the Ronggo Warsito Museum in Semarang, keeping archaeological and ethnographic artifacts. Meanwhile, in Jakarta, a series of historical museums such as the National Museum, Fathahillah Museum, and Youth Pledge Museum offer visitors a fascinating journey through time. East Java ranks third with 62 museums, including the Angkut Museum in Batu Malang, combining educational and entertainment experiences with an automotive theme. West Java follows with 39 museums, including the Geology Museum in Bandung, frequently visited by students and researchers for its rare rock and fossil collections. Yogyakarta has 35 museums, among them the Ulen Sentalu Museum, renowned for its Mataram cultural narratives, and the Avandi Museum, showcasing masterpieces by Indonesia's renowned visual artists. Beyond being educational tourist destination, museums are evolving into more interactive and modern cultural spaces. Several regions have rebuilt their museums with digital technology, thematic galleries, and temporary exhibition to make them more appealing to younger generation.
And that information wraps up our house news for today. I'm Reni Menario and all the crew. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.